Hello everyone and welcome back to the stream. I am Junchan and today we're working again on Chronofold. So let me actually make sure that my my title is correct, because right now it's still on Saturday's stream, and it seems like it's still on Saturday's stream. So Chronofold and done, and that looks right. Okay, and a little bit more housekeeping. Didn't want to start the stream late, and I'm already slightly late. But you know, I had my first day at work after quite a long time, but like something like 8 or 9 months spent, you know, working on stuff and learning, but not for company. So, and it was a great first day. Really enjoy it, and yeah, I'm gonna be doing some Haskell, so definitely a good thing, right? Okay, so that's on, and so now the next step would be to get some code on screen and also to get my log on screen. So where is my log? And why am I hearing those UI noises, which didn't used to be there? And log. And not that. We need to do it in a new window. That works differently on PC and Mac. It's a bit unfortunate. And let's open. I really want to open a workspace. Do I have a workspace for this? Maybe not. It's all good. I think opening the log should work out just fine for us. Well, actually, I'm gonna need to open the folder, which is fine. And this is not the log I wanted to open. This is though. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, so I said something on stream, I think that was yesterday. I did a little stream called Taster on type level programming. First attempt of giving some like a fast-paced sort of, I guess, yeah, introduction on how why you would even want to consider type level programming. That's something that, you know, when I didn't know about Purescript and Haskell was completely foreign to me, and I wanted to try and give it an intro. And well, the idea was also to make a draft and then iterate on it through some of the work that we're doing on the Saturdays, and to have something to work on, the kind of a prototype, to have a kind of a workflow where you stream things and then you kind of improve on content that can then later be published to YouTube. So it's the better way to phrase that, actually, I think is how to go from a 4-hour Twitch stream to a high quality 10-minute YouTube video. Or even what's a fast way to go from a 4-hour fast and streamlined. What's a streamlined way? That's a good way to say this. Okay. Yeah, what I said during that that stream on yesterday was that I needed to break down this log in multiple parts, and so maybe we'll do that now. just a little bit of housekeeping to, you know, clean things up, and maybe not get into back to Chronofold just quite yet. So let's see. First of all, this is actually not today's log because we are the 4th. So let's start by creating a folder for the 4th. And then let's think for a second. I do like this log.md name. I like how it's simple, you know, 3 characters plus 2 characters. I was actually wondering the other day walking in the street, what would be a good name for log in French? Yeah, and also because I was hearing about journaling in another context, right? Like not journalism, but journaling as a sort of daily writing practice, as something that's, you know, really good for performance and all other kind of things. And I was wondering, yeah, well, how would you have a short and zingy way to call those things in French? And I don't know, but yeah, I didn't tell my usual disclaimer. I like to follow tangents, right? So be patient, but I do poke back the stack, and this is about, you know, working and learning in the open. Okay, so let's learn how we move from a log that starts to have too many things in it, including you know, sort of more detailed section, to something that's a little bit more reasonable to handle. So first thing is actually, you know, it's good to have this as an overview, I think. So maybe what we do is that we create subfolders for Chronofold for, I mean, folder means one interaction more. I could call them log.chronofold. That's possible, right? Let's see if I like this more. I mean, it is quite explicit. And so what we put on this, well, actually, these days, we don't have that many things about Chronofold in the log. We have really plenty of other things, but oh yeah, one thing we want to maybe have also, I mean, surely have at the top is, or at the top level log now, right? Are these things like, you know, interaction and sort of housekeeping things. Although housekeeping things, to be honest, they might be moving into the streaming tools. Okay, so let's see how it would look if we had a streaming.md log. Oh, that's unpleasant. The ordering is quite unpleasant. Yeah, this is complete how, like, OCD, absolutely. But it is and it's not, right? I mean, it is OCD, fine. But if you think about it, if you have a mind that works better when there's symmetry and when actually order and shapes have meaning, which is really what my, you know, my design philosophy is, then these things matter. Because this log should be at the top. So we can number them. It's a little bit unpleasant. Or I guess I could not use a dot, and I could use some other separator here. I suppose I could use a space. And I don't mind having it at the bottom, as long as it's sort of by itself. Okay, so let's try this. And okay, so what do we put in the Chronofold? As I mentioned, we don't have a lot to put right now, but except for, you know, the actual to-do list. So let's put it here. And still some issue with, I think I forget what I tend to do here because I copy paste it all the time. Okay. Okay, so Chronofold has some things in it, and yeah, it should say Chronofold here. And streaming tools. So there's definitely the environment here, but all of this streaming things really is about the streaming tool. And maybe it's wrong to keep it here in a log because it's really actual work. It's not really a high level entry point into the project. It's kind of, I mean, there is a to-do thing and there is a summary. So maybe it's okay for now. We can clean that up next Saturday when we work on this. And then we have our sort of Haskell GPU. I guess I could call this NBody, right? This is the better, more concrete thing to try and do. And that would be this. And what do we have left? Okay, well, these environment housekeeping things, those could go into, this could really be merged inside the to-do here. You know what? I'll put it at the top. This way, hopefully, I look at this because there's the emotes or stream emojis, as I call them, could be something to spend a little bit of time on the next streaming tools stream. Okay, and this this taster on type level programming, well, that's a little bit similar as all of this design work here, which is that it probably fits better in its own category. But for now, I'm going to put it here because it's part of this project. It's sort of our prototype. Or, yeah, part of a prototype. Okay. Hey, that looks like a better, more manageable log right now. Ah, this feeling of... what is it? Marie Kondo, right? The Japanese guru of interior design, and if it doesn't bring you joy, then get rid of it. So we got rid of a number of things. And we can then finally go back down to looking at Chronofold. So last time, a few times ago actually, we finished implementing the CT merge algorithm, but I guess we don't have any robust tests or anything, but I wanted to have some baseline performance measures for later, for when we do maybe more performance work. And so I got a couple of numbers and we can try and take a look at them. So I think I copy pasted them here, right? So it's really naive sort of testing. I do use the Node high performance hook, or high precision performance hook, or high precision timing hook that can be used for measuring performance. Well, I mean, I think what we found was that running the first thing in line would always suffer from, I guess, something like a JIT warm-up time where the code gets a few passes and gets interpreted, and all of that actually takes some time to then start being warmed up to do later things. So this main here was actually, well, or in this case, the main was like we got diverted. We got into a tangent last time. We were joined by our friend Optical, or Barry, who's also streaming about functional programming things, and we were geeking out on optics. And there was a reason for that, which is that I was actually looking at going deep inside an object hierarchy, and that this is something that lenses are meant to be good for. And I was loathing writing some, ugly code whereas I probably knew enough of lenses to actually do something with lenses, even though I actually haven't used them quite so often. And it turned out that Optical, who at the time was actually finishing a series on our friend Chris Penner's book, Learning Optics by Example, was also keen on looking at optics in Purescript and helping me out with some of my my attempt to do optics for records, and we didn't get all the way into where we wanted to go, but it raised some interesting questions. And actually, I thought that I didn't do a good job at sort of summarizing. There was a nice way to make our work actionable by either posting a question on some Purescript forum, or maybe on the Lens library, about how to do the thing we were trying to do. So I might come back to that, but so that's why this code is actually not the code that generated these measurements. I think our main function at the time must have been something like just the running of the benchmark, maybe, or maybe at that time it was just in fact running just the bench Chronofold. I'm not even sure. But I created some alternate functions that just operate on arrays in Purescript, so that we have something to compare it to. And array whatever is just using the quick check machinery that generates property tests to generate arrays, and in this case an array of 1,000 of length, and measure how long that takes. And that takes 0.5 milliseconds. And then fold what, that I think takes this array in question, the 1,000 element one, and then does a very simple fold on it, but a fold that that tries to do like some basic things like a string conversion, or like run a couple of functions and do an appending, like something very simple, but just to sort of exercise a fold. And that took just a tiny bit of time as well, about the same time, 0.5 milliseconds. And in comparison, I think I extracted or I tested directly one of the methods, or in fact a copy of a method, or something that looks a bit like our tests. In fact, I think they extracted this from test, which is building some which takes an array of code points, and so that I think was 1,000 long, I would imagine. Build ops. Oh, I think I pass an example array to it. So I generate an array. Let's put this close to build ops. A bit like so let's call it array ops to be clearer, since I call it array whatever below. And build ops in fact is a fold L, but with some of our machinery that we want to test here. So, and here therefore I need to pass it array ops. And then let's, I suppose we can run the test again, just to make sure that we're back into a kind of a runnable state before we start digging back into this. Okay, all of my shortcuts don't work properly. And I also don't understand why I'm hearing this mouse click once in a while. It's fairly strange. Okay, but it's all good. And here we could do what? We could do, we don't need to do anything really. What I was suspecting is that when we launch main, that V8, the node engine, was actually doing some warm-up things that made subsequent runs faster. And I remember testing this assumption a little bit, but maybe we should just test those more directly. But just simply actually letting go of that and do a how was I running this thing? Oh, I think it's node bench. Oh yeah, and I've changed my my terminal, so I don't know if that's going to be a good idea. It used to be PowerShell, and now it's the MinGW64 bash. Well, we can try. I'm not even. Is there a node here? Yeah, there is node. Okay. Node. The autocomplete doesn't work, so that's going to be. Oh. Hold on, where are we? Oh, right. Okay, that's a strange place to be. We want to be in. Oh well. Shared. And Purescript Chronofold. Okay, and autocomplete does work. It's just the initial loading that doesn't respect the home directory or whatever directory is there. Okay, data foldable access.length. Cannot find length. Okay, so is it really our array ops, or did I? It is array. Oh, but I didn't compile this. And everything seems to be quite slow, and I haven't restarted my machine in a little bit of time, and I've accumulated a number of things. Unexpected or mismatched indentation. Where is this? Hmm? 113. Oh, right, okay, because now I have nothing in there. So let's leave what we had. And yeah, it's definitely slow, but it compiles. And can we run our benchmark now? We can. And we get, indeed, right? It looks like the first thing that's ran is twice as slow, but it could be just standard deviation. Yeah, it was 0.05, and it seems like it's consistently over 0.1 millisecond. And I was saying the number wrong earlier. It's actually 0.05 milliseconds, so 15 nanoseconds. and this is 100 nanoseconds. This is the significant digit. Okay, well, this doesn't matter so deeply, but I will nevertheless run the bench now with main, and main does something completely unrelated to everything else. It just does this preview operation. Wow, 10 milliseconds, but we see now we are 0.1 milliseconds, so I don't know, maybe I was wrong. And obviously we would want to run this multiple times and take the mean and everything, and that's what the benchmarking toolkit that we were using, Benchotron, does for us. But right now I've decided to revert to a much simpler benchmark, just to get us like some kind of ballpark. And it looks like we're like in the 20 millisecond ballpark for our build ops. I mean, it could be that my computer is just a little bit in pain out of just being having been up for a while. Yeah, the system itself seems to be just taking lots of CPU for some reason, so that's never a good sign. And so it looks like really we're in a range between 3 milliseconds and 20 milliseconds if we look at this. For and what we have for that is an array of code points of size 1000 that's being built, and we don't even append those ops. And so let's do the appending now and see how long that takes us. And then we'll do the projection and see how long that takes us. So the appending will be, we done build ops. Let's see, build, right? I mean, I've done this using build snockup, yeah. And so yeah, build snockup is available here. So here we do it line by line, and then we should be able to in fact do append ops, and this should append everything. So let's try this. Should really be bench, huh? And let's change the names here right away. And we want to do an append bench here. And we'll want to build bench here. And append bench will take the array ops. No. Append bench will take the result from the build bench. And append bench will only, we'll take an array up. And I think we'll simply do append ops. And okay, maybe we do need a let here. Append ops of alpha root of ops. Okay, let's try and build that. And then we want a project bench, which for projection bench, which would take a log and give us back a string. It would just be a project. Well, actually I can do 0.3. It's just going to be project. First to build. There's two lets here. Unexpected token append ops. Okay, I'm going to restart. I see my keyboard is in the okay, there we go. Purescript restart reconnect Purescript ID server. That doesn't work. Maybe that's part of the things that are troubling my computer. I did restart VSCode, so it's a little bit strange. But I suppose that if this terminal, it could be because of the terminal. So, oopsie, let's change the default shell back to PowerShell, even though it doesn't really please me, but if it works, well, then it'd be preferable. Okay, and let's see if we can do a restart here. Oh, we can't. Okay, so probably need to restart this. Plus, we are actually back into being also not in where we should be here. Oh boy. So in which case, you know what, I prefer, if it's broken, then I prefer that it's the bash. Tooling. And this, oh, of course you don't remember my history. No, you don't. Oh boy. Okay, shared. Okay, and can we build? No, unexpected token on 65. Do it the old school way. Oh, so okay, you want that in, I suppose. Unknown value build ops. We're not importing that. We're importing everything. So maybe it's oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Build ops must be still somewhere in this code. Yeah, right here. Whereas right now it's build bench. Like this. And this is append bench. I mean, we're not using that, but they might complain when compiling. Array of ops with an array of code points in 91. Oh, okay, okay, yeah. No, let's take care of this later because it's trying to do this with the same input, and append takes different input than build, and it builds. And so we can do node bench. So we have some duplication for some reason. Maybe because we're am I doing the same thing twice here? I'm getting an array of VOPs out of that. And in theory, I should be able to append this array of VOPs, but do I need to append it here instead? I suppose if ops contains, I could also change replica. That might also work. There we have a problem again, and oh yes, right. I meant empty log alpha. Root alpha is actually an op, and that's the op that I suspect might be therefore there twice. Whereas if we start with the empty log, then hopefully ops now contain the alpha op root. Build succeeded. And no. Although we do build more stuff, it seems like the problem comes maybe in the projection then. Index out of bound in next. And that comes from index out of bound in next. Well, that comes right away at operation alpha 2. Trying to add something onto an alpha 0, and that doesn't work because alpha 1 should be here because so no, it should be alpha log root here, but there is a problem, and I'm not sure which one, but you know what, let's see if we can dodge this. Nope. Didn't expect the timestamp to already exist in NDX. So let's get a little bit of error messages, a little bit more info about what's going on here. Oh wow, there's no folder opened. That might be the reason why it's actually unhappy. Like if there's no folder open, then it doesn't know what to open in the bash, and then it also doesn't know where to refer to when doing the REPL stuff. So it might just be that, yeah, and it opens right away into here. We lost our windows, but it should be fine. And where are we? We were in benchmark on the one hand and bench on the other, and we were having an error, and so I was suggesting to add some tracing code in the timestamp related error, which would be didn't expect the timestamp to already exist in NDX. And we can take the example of the other error we got, which was pretty good at giving us some info. And which one was it? Here, index out of bound. So we could show the log and the op, and that would be already quite something. And what was I saying? It's here, and we will need a function application here. So let's rebuild. And you know what? We are starting to use less of this side of the screen, so let's get a little bit more real estate here. This is slow as hell. Okay, succeeds, and same error, but this time with some data. So we know we're trying to append into a log of beta2 that already has 2 things in it, but we're trying to append an op, that this op alpha2, and visibly, I mean, obviously that's not going to work, but we are in append, right? So okay, well, the append op takes a log and an op, but append ops is just folder of append op. Oh, maybe I'm mistaken here. Maybe I just need to do something similar to build bench, but where I fold an append op and get the log out of that. I'm not sure why I don't have functions for that, but let's try. So go, instead of just, we don't care about appending. We can in fact throw the log. What we want is accumulate the log. So even though we get an array, well, so we're getting an array of code points in again. And we'll get the code point each time, but this time we want to have a log as the accumulator. And we can just throw it away after each loop, but we just need to append the op after it's built. And so we can do append op of log, and append op takes a log and op. And so if we do this, first of all, our ID is back, and that's because we did this weird mutant variable name up there. And this is not an empty log, so we need to start with an empty log, like probably alpha log root. And I think we compile. In fact, I think that by now the IDE already did the compilation and I don't even need to do Spago build, which might be what's indicated by the fact that I did it pretty much immediately, which is good news. That's pretty much. Oh no, what's that? Object. Yeah, because we're passing the wrong thing. Yeah, that's all good. We should be passing the bench array ops. but we get the same error. Okay, now I'm having a big doubt. Do our tests pass, or did I break something? No, it seems to work. And it seems to be at the beginning that there's some issue there. So there is another approach. I would have wanted to test the primitives a little bit independently from testing more of the string interface, but I think I'm going to have to test the string interface. And that one takes a log and a string, and so we do need to build a 1,000 long character string. And you know what? Let's just close all of this. And I think we have that in the string package. Probably in code point. Yeah, array code point to string. Yeah, exactly that. From code point to array. Okay, so what am I thinking here? I'm thinking that we don't do append bench for now. We'll just mark this as with the error. I don't want to troubleshoot it right now. And instead, we'll do append string bench, which can take the same array of code points, really. But return a log, and that would be by composing from code point array together with build snock string ops. And let's do it point full, because we want a log here, and we can, I think, use the same kind of let thing here to do put alpha log root here. And we need to import this from data strings. We should have data, data string.code point. Maybe. Shouldn't this be available? Oh, right, yes, of course. And oh, this gives an array up. Wow, I didn't realize that I had not built an interface which was of this type. I guess I haven't focused on API at all. And so my logs were always built by doing append ops. So we can try that. We can try to just append ops to alpha log root, and this would be the ops. Yeah. And let's try this without compiling, thinking that the IDE compiled it for us. And how to tell? Well, actually, it's easy to tell because I haven't even changed this. All right. Okay, 155 milliseconds for this. Okay. That's starting to get really slow, but it's our baseline. We haven't even followed some of the basic recommendations in the paper yet. I just have something that works. Okay, so now I want to do the projection as well. And for that, I need to get the log out of the results. So that would be this, would be the log. And we shall do project bench. And we'll do it with the log. And I think that should be fairly fast, which is the idea that write might be slow, but read should be fast, and it is fast. Okay, so whatever it is, it's not high quality or anything, but I think it gives us some sense of what's happening. That yeah, you know what, 15 milliseconds, it's kind of in that ballpark. Main, we don't care. Whatever, we don't care. For what, we don't care. Build bench is in the ballpark, and so we just add these two. Okay, so that allows me to pop back this stack and say we have some baseline. And I think, unfortunately, I've already checked. Oh no, I haven't. Great. And then we had a, we had another sort of ongoing tangent in the shape of this effort to, well, so this effort actually was an effort to get into the statistics object that's generated by Benchotron in order to take out something that's maybe more reusable, but it's a little bit unwieldy. I think I'm just going to leave that aside for now. I'm just going to maybe make a note of what we were attempting to do. Unfinished attempt to get only a few interesting numbers, like, you know, average and deviation, standard deviation from Benchotron with lenses, but the problem is, however, would need to maybe create several of these because we need to generate different things. And however, well, a few things. Benchotron has a lot of moving parts. How to profile with the Chrome profiler. Would need another generator for yeah, and even the generator concept doesn't necessarily fit completely. So it's even like we don't need a generator for each step, really. Okay, I'll keep it at that, and so we can leave this a little bit aside because I'd like to, before we, it's already 1 hour into the stream, and I'd like to start thinking about this prototype thing. And what would it mean to publish these logs that I've been producing at each stream as a string that gets published somewhere. So there's several aspects to this. Well, first of all, we need to use the Purescript Chronofold library, so it's a good way to just think about APIs and so on. And there's a few questions that arise. One is, how do we get the content of this file? And we could make a VS Code extension, but I guess probably the first easy way to go is simply to pass it a file. So, and we could use a watch thing. In fact, we could we could use a watcher that when the file changes, just re-executes our program. So I'm going to put this in log Chronofold, right? Okay, prototype. So reads a file that we know uses Prescript Chronofold library, right? Reads a file launched by a watcher. This could be whatever. I mean, I think there are a few, obviously, in the Node ecosystem. Right, so in fact, our program is launched by a watcher, and then it does what it reads the file. So there's the question of how do we, so we might not, I might be already on the wrong path here, because we might, and that might lead us to actually implement it as a VS Code plugin, because we'll need something, because if we read files launched by a watcher, then what we'll see, basically we'll end up having to do diffs. But we don't want to do that. That's what we would like ideally, is that every single keystroke becomes an op, becomes appended to the Chronofold, and then somehow the ops are, you know, using some network transport and going somewhere else. So yeah, reading a file will absolutely defeat the purpose. So, I mean, yeah, it would, because we need to save after each character, and there's no way we do that. So we could hook up into VS Code. I mean, that would make sense. That's what I've been using. And I mean, we could hook it up into other editors later, sure, but okay, so VS Code extension. Hooking into each character stroke. Each keystroke. each keystroke becomes an op. Append it to the local log. Broadcast to a swarm, and for that we could use different things. We could use WebRTC, you know, WebSockets, or we could use stuff that the folks from Hypercore are using, and I think it's called Hyperswarm these days. The advantage of this is that I think they have ways to do both node and browser discovery. In fact, using WebRTC in the browser, but using, I think, UTP on node, so pretty smart stuff. And but is there a way to prototype this from browser to browser? I think if we did that, then in fact WebSockets might be probably the easiest. But I think we can in fact get up and running with Hyperswarm fairly fast. And so then we could top this up with a little cherry on top, like a Twitch overlay. Okay, and so I suppose that this would probably need to be a separate code base. Clearly from this, yeah. I suppose before the Twitch overlay, we would want to just have a browser client, something that's able to pick up all the ops I'm doing here in VS Code and display them in the browser. That would be a nice intermediary step. Okay, let's launch into it. I've never done a VS Code extension, but I'm sure there's a template. There's your first extension. Your first extension. And VS Code extension samples. Okay, maybe there's a generator for this. That's good. So let's that's going to install this thing globally. It's fine, we can do that. Scaffold a TypeScript or JavaScript project ready for development. Run the generator and fill out a few fields. Okay, your code. Oh wow, they snapped the code name. And do we want to put this inside Prescript Chronofold? No, we don't. We want to make a new folder for that. So, well, I guess we can do this here. It's not going to be in libraries. Yeah, experiments is a good idea. It's a good place. And MCAD here, VSCode Chronofold. I think we're not going to do it in TypeScript. We're going to do it in JavaScript, and we are going to have some Purescript in it if we want to. It might be just faster to call our JavaScript call our Purescript library from JavaScript and just do a quick prototype. I don't think I can do that before. It would be quite impressive if I was able to pull this off in the 22 minutes that I gave myself for the stream. I've been thinking, yeah, an hour and a half for today. So let's be focused. So I might actually want to also get the Hyperswarm documentation up, because we're going to have a client. I'm going to have a client as well, so we can do a browser Chronofold projects and initialize as Purescript project in there. And load it up. And we'll want Hyperswarm in there, I think. Although, yeah, let's see if they talk about the browser version right away, or I think it might be leaving somewhere else, the browser version. Hyperswarm browser. Hyperswarm web, that's it. So let's pull this in. npm I save Hyperswarm web. And I guess I did say it was JavaScript, it was Purescript, but we don't have a library for Hyperswarm. But I suppose we could have an FFI here. This is one of the really amazing thing with Purescript, is that really you can switch gears with regards to what you directory does not exist. Okay, here's our main.js, and so that should allow us to, in fact, well, there's some yes, there's some limitation on the version of JavaScript we can use. That's quite unfortunate, but I think that prevents us to do even const. I think we need to do var. It's not ES 2015, if I'm correct, compatible. Okay, and so we can in parallel do yo code here. And answer the questions when they come in. No, sorry. Just watch the stream. Slow. Probably because npm is running. And let's take a look at VSCode extension key event hook or callback activation events. How to lock keystrokes. Does not expose key press events to extension directly. Try reviewing VSCode's API guide and think if you can accomplish what you're after in a different way. However, the closest approximation to key down in VSCode is that an extension can register for the type command in VSCode. Blah. This command will fire for key presses. However, it does not log modified keys directly. The type command should also be used for debugging in very specific cases, as it has performance problems and major limitations. What are the major limitations? But this even you can get the keystrokes. Please refer to this link. Is that true? VS Workspace on did change text document handle change. I was listening for the wrong event. To get text document change events, whichever property content changes with return text document content, use this code. Okay, that sounds like that's exactly what we want. Okay, new extension. What's the name of your extension? What was it? VSCode, well, Chronofold. identifier, description, meh. Enable JavaScript type checking in JSConfig. What? No. Git repo. No. npm. And I've made an oops, but we should be able to recover from it. And we're still installing. Okay, and what was the error with type? I mean the problem with the type hook. Steps to reproduce with multiple extensions registering the type command. Jump P does not work in complete. Okay, so it's just when you have several extensions fighting over the same registration for the type command. And well, let's take a look at the API docs for this. An event that is emitted when the text document is changed usually happens when the content changes, but also when other things like the dirty state changes. So let's look at the type of this event. Okay, right. So code dot. Sure. Let's move this into VS. I thought I created a VSCode Chronofold. Did I create it? I didn't create it here. What? I thought, well, I have nothing in my history here. Okay, and yes. Oh, I put it in experiments. Yes, I did. I remember. So let's move Chronofold into, well, actually, let's move all the things in Chronofold into experiments. VSCode Chronofold, including the dot things. And that's the code for extension, and it's supposed to run by doing what? Inside the editor, press F5. What's this? Hey Juan, what's up? Good to see you, man. Oh yeah, break time. That sounds like a great idea. Okay, I think F1, F5. Okay, yeah, no, probably not that, huh? What's going on? Why? Okay. Oh, extension development host. Extension host is not a silent text. It can maybe stop. Oh, I see. Oh, so I needed to accept that thing. Okay, fine. I shall do that. Hey, nice. I'm glad you did. Absolutely meant to be reused. Okay, I will take a break in a second. I just want to get to the bottom of this little thing. Okay, extension development. So now if I do hello world here, I can do this and the extension is active. Okay, great. So I will be right back. In fact, yeah, I'll be back in like 2 minutes. And I'm back. All right. So yeah, when I was, well, this thing happened again. There is a gesture in Windows that I should absolutely deactivate because I like to shake my Windows and I don't like Windows to think that I'm talking to it. Yeah, we've kind of advanced into we've done basic of establishing a baseline like performance metrics, and I was now looking at what could constitute a prototype of our library. Even the library is, super slow, but I want to kind of test its API and I want to start doing stuff with it. So, we've just made a list of things that the extension could do, and one of the things could be just to be a VS Code extension. And so I fired up just a simple examples, and it seems like we actually have an extension. So that's pretty cool. And so we also have an API for when people are going to be typing, and that would be the on_change text document event. And I need just to find out how to add this somewhere, and probably actually looking at the samples would be a good idea. And I'm going to, that's ugly, wow. We need something with events, code actions. I think code actions would be a good idea. There's an event hook in there. Nope. Okay, let's look at what it's in the workspace. Okay, maybe if we search for workspace.on, we'll find some stuff. Well, maybe we'll find some stuff, but not here. Let's see if any an extension actually uses this very API. I doubt it. I mean, in the sample ones, but hey, no, it does. Excellent. Decorator sample. Perfect. So where do we put this? We put it in the activate body. excellent. So that's activate, and we put it here. And then we say, all right, sounds fantastic. Trigger update decorations. No, we're going to, if activator and event document equals activator document, then we'll just console log something, right? For now, like actually, right, like this. Yes, we'll console log hi, because we like to say hi, and then what actually? Then is this going to just reload automatically, or no? I probably need to do this, right? Yeah. This is pretty cool. This extension development environment thingy. Okay, right. In fact, hold on. If I press a key, yeah, no, it's not going to work. If I just press a key like this. Oh, well, maybe not. What is this thing? Huh. Not clear. But so hold on. Maybe we need to, in fact, push this to the root. Context subscriptions. Oh, yeah, context.subscription. There's something that's happening with context subscriptions here, but I suppose it's adding something to the context, but this is adding disposable to subscriptions, registering a command, right? And then, okay, so do I need to activate it first? No, that sounds a little bit strange, but let's try. Hello world, your extension is now active, and so if I do A, B, C, yeah, I get highs. Okay, excellent. So in fact, we kind of want it to be active all the time. So what is this thing? Context subscriptions. Register command, chronofold.hello world. Show information message. Hello world from. Oh yes, it does this. And then it pushes this registration into subscriptions. But it only shows, congratulations, your extension is now active, after I've registered the command. So is there something that's done here? Create decoration type, update decoration, effective, on the change, active text editor. Huh. You know what? Okay, so this is a interesting. Okay, I want to check again that I haven't missed something, and that if I start typing now, it's actually not gonna work. Oh yeah, it is not working. Activating extension. No, it's still working on activating extensions. No. No. Sorry about that. And I need to register the command. Why can't I? Okay, let's see what they say. Developing the extension. change the message, that's fine. Debugging, we've done that. Next steps, extension anatomy. Hello world extension, that's the thing. Register the on-command activation event. So the extension becomes activated when the users run events upon which your extension become active. Yeah, right. But I want this to be kind of always. Is that possible? Set of JSON declarations that you make in the activation events. Extensions become, oh, in the activation field, the package JSON extension manifest. So on language, on command, on debug, workspace contains, on file systems, on view. Activated whenever view of a specified ID is expanded in the VSCode sidebar extension. Create a custom editor. No. Startup. Yeah, that's it. Startup. That's what we want. Okay. Package JSON. Activation event. Beam. Boom. Reload. Type things. Hey, it is active. It says it's activating. I type. It's missed quite a few. 12. Yeah, it missed about 8. But let's see now. Yeah. I probably haven't been drinking enough today, I would say, but I'm catching up. Okay, so if I say, yeah, if I do that, and then I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so once it's loaded, it should be fine. Okay, awesome. So now I load my Purescript library, but how do I use a Purescript library in JavaScript already? Using a Purescript library in JavaScript. Calling Purescript from JavaScript. Calling. Yeah, that's it. That's calling Purescript from JavaScript. Yeah, right. So let's see. So if I did even in fact something like npm link of where am I? Oh, well, no, I'm not in the shell here. Let's go to terminal. Right. Here in experiments, yes. We're in browser Chronofold here. VSCode Chronofold is here. Okay. And so if I said npm link of libraries, Purescript Chronofold, this should work, shouldn't it? Except I would need to say that it's somewhere in the output folder that the... Oh no, right, yeah, I just need to say something like new file, index.js. And in index.js I do something like require output slash main. Something like that, right? How does it work? Test. Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't care about the test, so bench would work. Oh, I put benchmark, right. So yeah, I suppose I'll put oh no, I'll put data chronofold. Yeah. So where is that? I'll put data chronofold index.js. Yeah, something like that. So let's try. Where is my index? Here. Data.chronofold. Well, actually, well, I want to export this. So how does this work? Export dot something. Module exports. Modular exports equals that. Would that work? Maybe. And so then I need to go into my extension, and link should have worked, and so I should be able to do const chronofold equals, well, I think it would be called Purescript chronofold, right? This is not a common thing to do, but let's double check. So in here there should be a Purescript chronofold symlink, and there is, and it has the index.js, and so in theory I should be able to simply do this. And then in this chronofold, then what do we have there? Where we should have something like what? Well, let's take a look. Let's peek. Peek inside the chronofold index. Oh, well, okay, nothing. So we need to go inside core. Yeah. And then we have things like root, for instance, which takes a replica. Let's try this. Oh, this needs to move. Can you move it? Oh, okay, see. Right, so dot core. Okay, that's in, that's, yeah, where should I? That's over there, yeah, there. Dot core here. And then I should be able to do something like console log chronofold dot root, for instance, which would take a replica. And a replica, we think we can, how do we build an object like this? I think it's possible. I think usually you don't want to do that. I mean, it's clear that usually you don't want to do that. Okay, I think in fact we should be able to just call the type constructor, no? Oh, that's in types. So that's not the best. I suppose we can change our, yeah, that's right, replica. Okay, so let's try something like this. In theory, we'd want it to be chronofold dot replica of 1. And so I suppose we want it all directly, right? So we'll just say how do I export? Right, I say module exports. Oh, right. Yeah, right. Dot core is this. Dot buffer and dot types. And then in the extension, I can do core root and types replica. And then I should be just able to do root here. Okay, let's try. Be quite amazed if this works. Oh, we need the debug console. Wait until we get the activation. Doesn't really matter, but okay. Cannot find module output data Chronofold core. Yeah, because I need a slash. That's why. Dot slash. How about now? And a hydrate. Oh yeah. All right. And A. We get an object. Yeah, that's a Purescript object. Huh. Pretty cool. So I've already gone over by 11 minutes, but I can feel some things in the log, and I'm pretty happy about where we went with like this rush for a kind of a prototypey thing. So it's not the Touch extension, but we've got the VSCode extension part, and it is hooked into each keystroke. And plus we've now hooked the VSCode extension to Purescript Chronofold, which is pretty cool. And so now we just need to make each keystroke become an op, and we'll be on our way. And like we just need to do to implement the connectivity layer. And I'm pretty sure I can do this in one session. So pretty nice. And so that will be next Wednesday, because tomorrow at the same time we will go back to doing a little bit of our Haskell things with hopefully some pretty graphics on screen of simulated NBody physics. But that's it for now. Thanks a lot for following, and I'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. UTC+1 with some Haskell. And see you later. Bye-bye.